Doug, why did it seems like the HRSB decided to close or just made their decision for early dismissal later than some of the other school boards in the area today?
Well, we made a decision to open this morning, and we were pretty sure we were going to have to reassess mid-morning. As our policy indicates, we try to make the decision by 11 o'clock if we're going to have a mid-morning or a midday closure. And we made that decision at approximately 10:45, and we moved to announce it in as many ways as possible as we could immediately following that.
Now we have some screenshots that a bunch of parents sent us of the text program, where you can text it, and some of these people were just getting their text messages at like 11:31, 11:28, saying that schools were closing at 11:30.
Sure.
So is there problems with that, or?
Well, there's a problem in the sense that they didn't get it earlier, but in fact, the text message and emails that we send to parents are not actually something that we're required to do under our policy. It's an additional thing we do. So it's one of those points of no good deed goes unrewarded in one sense. But what we do is we post immediately to our website. We have a notification line that people can call in. We tweet it and we send it to media. After all of that, we then use text message and email notification, which we're sending out to over 100,000 people. So given the vast amount of emails and text messages that are going out, it's going to be a bit slower, which is why it shouldn't be the first thing people rely on. I can understand the frustration with people getting those text messages and emails at a time when it might even be after when we made the decision to close. But in reality, that's not something that we're required to do. We're doing it because we want to try and get the message out as many ways as possible.
Right. I know sometimes when you send big ones, there's a delay and stuff, and I've seen that too with big text lists and stuff, that there's a delay. Do you think half an hour is long enough though for parents to kind of sort everything out to get to school and pick up their kids, or and that's what we were just hearing from parents.
Well, one thing that people may not realize that in elementary school, every parent gets contacted directly by the school. So there's actually a physical phone call that occurs between the parent and the school so that they know exactly what's going to happen. So it's unfortunate that it is a very small turnaround in some cases. It's not necessarily unusual in the sense that when we do have a midday closure, it's fortunate that we tend to have midday closures once every few years, and the same questions get asked every time. It's if we could avoid them, we would. The information we had this morning suggested that there wasn't going to be as much snow down at this time of day. We were expecting that we were probably going to operate all day with a possible reassessment mid-morning.
Excellent. And my coworker Sarah just had a couple questions she wanted me to ask you. Could you talk a bit about the breakfast program and how that has been affected since Work to Rule got in place? Do you know?
Schools are managing breakfast programs. They have done that prior to Work to Rule, and they're, I'm sure, managing them after. It's not something the board actually manages. So how schools are making that work would be up to them. Some have probably changed their process, so it might be just a grab and go. Rather, previously it's been something that might have been a hot meal, but ultimately that's something the schools are managing, and I wouldn't have the details on individual schools.
Sure. Do you know if some school, just off the top of your head, if some schools had to stop because of Work to Rule, or they're still trying to figure it out?
It's possible that some schools may have done that. What we indicated to schools that if they were going to be interrupting their breakfast program or changing the look of it, they should be communicating directly with their school communities. So that's the expectation that schools were given prior to the Work to Rule.
Perfect. That's great. Anything else you wanted to add, Doug?
Nope.
Great. Let's get a quick Thank you.